In the art of Kenya's gospel music world, there are stories of faith, hope, and strength. But few stories are as powerful as Betty Bayo's. She was a woman who rose from deep poverty to become one of the most loved voices in Kikuyu gospel music. Her life was full of ups and downs, joy and pain, success and struggle. This is the story of Betty Bayo. Her real name was Beatrice Bugwa. Life was hard for young Betty. Her family had no money, and like many poor children in Kenya, she could not finish school. She had to drop out in Form 2. Her dreams of education seemed over. But Betty did not give up. She took a job as house help in Kenya. Many people look down on house girls, but Betty saw it differently. She saw it as a chance. Every day, she worked hard. Every shilling she earned, she saved. Why? Because Betty had a dream. She wanted to go back to school and finish her education. And she did it. Can you imagine a young girl working hard as a house help, saving her own money, and putting herself back in school? This was not easy. It took years of hard work and sacrifice, but Betty made it happen. She went back to high school and completed her education. This tells you everything about Betty Bayo. She was a fighter. She did not let poverty win. She did not accept that her life had to stay small. Even when the world said no, Betty said yes. This strength would carry her through everything that came next. In the early 2010s, something special was happening in Kenya. Kikuyu gospel music was growing faster. New artists were rising. Churches were full of people hungry for music that spoke their language and touched their hearts. Betty Bayo was about to join this movement in a big way. Then came the song that changed everything. It was called 11th Hour. The title itself was powerful. The 11th hour means the last minute. When all hope seems lost, when you are running out of time, it's when God steps in and performs a miracle. Maybe Betty Bayo was singing about her own life. This song exploded, made Betty Bayo famous across Kenya. Suddenly, the girl from the poor village in Kiambu was performing for thousands of people. The house help who saved shillings for school fees was now a star. Her voice was everywhere, carrying messages of hope and faith to people all over the nation. But Betty did not stop there. She kept making music. Song after song became hits. Each song touched people's hearts. Kenyans saw themselves in her music. They had their own struggles, their own faith, their own hope. But Betty was not just singing about God. She was living proof that faith works, that miracles happen, that you can raise from nothing. But fame in Kenya is complicated. When you are famous, everyone watches everything you do. Your private life becomes public. And for Betty Bayo, her personal life was about to become headline news. Betty Bayo was in a relationship with Pastor Victor Kanyari. Pastor Victor Kanyari became involved in one of the biggest church scandals Kenya had ever seen. It was called the 310 seed scandal. Pastor Kanyari was telling people to send him 310 shillings as a seed offering. He promised them miracles in return. He said God would bless them, heal them, make them rich, but investigations showed something else. The miracles were fake. The healings were staged. Desperate people looking for help from God were being used and cheated. Betty Bayo was caught in the middle. She was Kanyari's partner. She was the mother of his children. Now the same spotlight that celebrated her music was judging her personal life. People had questions. People had opinions. Many people condemned her. Imagine being in her shoes. You worked so hard to raise from poverty, you made beautiful music that helped people, and now, because of someone else's actions, your name is being dragged through the mud. The newspapers are writing about you. Social media is attacking you. Everywhere you go, people are talking. For many people, this would be the end. They would hide, they would quit, they would disappear from public life. But Betty Bayo was not like most people. Remember, this was a woman who put herself through school. This was a woman who refused to let poverty keep her down. After the scandal, Betty Bayo could have run away. She could have stopped making music. She could have hidden from the world. Many people would have understood. But that was not Betty Bayo's way. She kept making music. She kept performing. She kept ministering to people through her songs. She refused to hide in shame. Betty Bayo understood something important. She knew that nobody is perfect. She knew that redemption is not about being perfect. It's about being strong. It's about getting up when you fall. The people who loved her music still loved her. The people whose lives were touched by her songs still needed her voice, and Betty Bayo kept singing. Then, in 2021, something special happened. Betty Bayo found love again. She married a man named Iram Gitau. People called him Tash, and he loved Betty Bayo for who she was. They had a traditional Kikuyu wedding ceremony. It was beautiful. It was a celebration. This wedding was about more than just a marriage. It was proof that you can start over. It was a proof that your past does not have to be your future. It was proof that even after scandal, even after pain, you can find happiness again. Through everything, Betty remained a mother. She loved her children deeply. She had survived scandal and judgment. But being a mother was what mattered most to her. Her children were her greatest treasure. But life had one more challenge for Betty Bayo. This was different. This was private. Betty Bayo was diagnosed with a serious illness, blood cancer. It's dangerous, it's painful, it can be deadly. This time, Betty Bayo made a different choice. She decided to keep it private. For years, she had lived her life in public. Everyone knew her business. Everyone had an opinion. She had faced mockery on social media. She had been judged and criticized online. Now, facing the biggest battle of her life, she wanted privacy. Betty was afraid, not just of the cancer, but of what people would say. She feared that even in her sickness, people would mock her on social media. She feared to face what she had experienced before. So she chose to fight this battle quietly, away from the cameras, away from the comments, away from the judgment. She wanted dignity. She deserved dignity. On Monday, November 10th, 2025, Betty Bayo passed away. She was at Kenyatta National Hospital receiving treatment. The woman who sang about 11th hour miracles was gone. She had fought with courage until the very end. Betty Bayo lives behind her children. They carry her legacy forward. They remember a mother who was strong, who was loving, who never gave up. She lives behind her music. Those songs still play in churches and homes across Kenya. Rest in peace, Betty Bayo.
Ya 11th hour, yetera kwero shine